help her, Mr. I let you.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where we're about to see the 4 Ewing brothers together for the very last time. My name is Mary.
And I'm Josh, the illegitimate bastard Ewing that is not really a Ewing.
The other illegitimate bastard Ewing?
Yes, okay. Exactly.
All right. And we are just 2 tonight because Melanie has decided to take a hiatus from the show because she's dealing with some stuff. And she hopefully will be back very soon, but we don't have a date yet.
She's in Emporia, Kansas, isn't she?
Yes, she's in Emporia, Kansas, mowing Aunt Lo's lawn.
Hopefully she's wearing a shirt.
No shirt. She greased her chest up too. So just, it's not on camera.
Oh, okay.
And Sarah has her day job she's a busy bee at her day job. So, and that actually pays the bills, which this does not. So, real jobs first. So you just get Josh and I tonight.
And want to give some shout outs here because we have not been on since before Chiller.
Yeah, that's right.
We picked up some new people.
Oh, yeah. All the cool people we met.
Yes. Kelly McLeod, who we met in the lobby that night, has started to follow us. And Martha Sandusky, who joined us for drinks that evening.
Yeah.
And, And we did get to meet up with Mario de la Casa, who the restaurant Mario's is not named for in this episode, or is it? Or is it?
Dun, dun, dun.
And he's off to Italy with for 2 months with a family trip, and
he's been posting fabulous pictures.
Oh, he has. So a shout out to Mario. Also met up with this surprised this actor. Who appeared in one episode, Jason London, who appeared as a rehab counselor in the new series. I brought my Dallas album cover over, which I will post up on our site so people can look at all the signatures on it. It is quite impressive. You've seen it, Mary, obviously.
I have. It's just super impressive.
And Jason London was so impressed that somebody would remember that one episode, and his agent actually took a picture of the album cover as he was signing it.
That's awesome.
And of course, Priscilla Presley was there.
Yes, Priscilla. Yeah. Very long line for Priscilla.
I happened to be walking by at one point and I said, "Where's the line?" And they said, "There is no line." So I jumped in line. I tried to contact you and Sarah. And by the time you got over there, I had gone through and done what I did. We were going to get a group photo, but
next time.
Yeah. And the last person we met who was really cool, I think you can attest to, was Rami Zada, who played Johnny Dancer.
Yeah, he was really funny.
He was fun. He was good.
Really fun.
And hopefully he doesn't really do social media, but hopefully by the time we get up to his episodes, we can have him on some point we can pre-record something, because if you have a chance to meet him, do it, because he is a fun guy.
Yeah.
And Linda Gray, people were wondering why Linda was not there, and she was scheduled to be there, but she had that 100-mile walk hike in Spain that got moved up. So, but she will be in Palm Springs at Oscars on June 13th with Steve, Patrick, Charlene, Audrey Landers, Kathy Podwell, Joan Van Ark, and Cherie J. Wilson. And
all the peeps.
And Michael Preece said he is going to be there too. So
cool.
I'm going to try to have some of our connections get some video for us and maybe a greeting for our.
That would be amazing.
So, and I'm sure you want to give some shout outs. Oh, we also saw Captain America.
Yeah, we saw Captain America. As always, super fun.
And Amy Harrow was there, but you all kept missing her because we just like ships in the night.
Right,
but I was able to.
I know.
I was able to catch up. So Hollywood show at the end of June. Joan Van Ark, Deborah Renard, Barbara Carrera, and not saying people, Donna Mills, who was a Ewing as well. So there are other things going on. Like we just passed the 32nd anniversary of the final episode of Dallas, the original series.
I think today is it's yesterday was the anniversary of the Bobby.
Oh yeah.
the Bobby, getting a little action.
Yeah, and that's spoiler. We all know.
Right.
We all know that at this point. But,
Okay, I'll probably have to beep that out. So I'll just say the season finale of 1985, where Bobby has an incident.
The episode is called Swan Song. Nope, it's today, May 17th.
Is it today?
May
Okay.
17th.
I posted it on social media. I couldn't remember if it was last night or this morning. So.
Mm-hmm. And I remember my sister and older brother, or my late sister now, obviously, and older brother were having a wild party here at the house. Well, while the parents were in St. Martin, and I was upstairs watching the episode, and it was getting very emotional at that point.
Yeah.
And my sister's boyfriend at the time burst into the room, looking around, going, "Get the beer! Get the beer! Get the beer!" And I'm like, "What? Go away!" Yeah, and somebody found out about the party and obviously called the parents in St. Martin, so they got in trouble when parents got home. I wasn't old enough to throw a party. I mean, but
did you call your parents? Was it you?
No, it was the person that was sitting for the two tiny siblings.
Oh,
So,
gotcha.
But, yeah, and then May 13th was the other day, was the 30th anniversary of the last episode of Knots Landing.
Oh.
So, which you still haven't really.
No, I still haven't seen, because it's not like easy to watch. So.
No, it isn't. Although there is a guy, Brian Crow, who has he has made the episodes accessible through him to people that want them. So.
We might have to
reach out to him and
reach out to him. Yeah.
And you probably want to give some shout outs as well.
Yeah, totally. To our amazing, awesome, rad Patreon members: Brendan Fillick, Captain America, Sheen Pye, Justin Ware, Marie Johnson, Michael Jung, Jason Gregory, Jason Carter.
Sounds like Ewing.
Well, yes, it does. Laura Bernheim, Brad Mulholland, Anita Wren, and Kristen Carlano, who are awesome. Like I said, super rad, awesome people who are the reason that we are able to still do this. Because otherwise, I don't think that we would have been able to afford to keep doing this the whole time. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yes.
You guys rock.
We drink for you.
Yes, we drink in your honor. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. And birthdays, death dates, and the like. I have a Peyton E. Park. I don't know who he played. He obviously was not a major person. He would have been 100 on May 8th. Jenna Michaels, who played Connie, was born 1956, May 9th. So she would have been 67, somewhere thereabouts.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the anniversary of her passing is May 23rd in 2018. So she was only 61 or 62. No, 62.
I know who Peyton Park played.
Who did he play?
3 different characters during 9 episodes. He played someone named Caleb.
Okay.
Larry of Deltam Catering.
Oh, the catering guy. Yes, that's right.
And he was also a judge.
A judge? Oh, he's moved up in the world from a caterer to a judge.
Yeah.
Only on Dallas can you move up in different professions that way.
Right.
Lawrence Haddon, you probably want to look him up, Laurence. He died May 10th, 2013. Birthdays. Priscilla Pointer, May 18th. She will be 99.
Insane in the membrane.
That's Rebecca Wentworth.
Lawrence Haddon played Franklin Horner.
Franklin Horner, that's right. And I believe he played Dr. Ackerman, who stole Val's babies on Knots Landing.
Oh.
And Steve Forrest, who played Ben Stivers and Wes Parmalee, died May 18th, 2013.
Wes Parmalee.
That's right. I'm going to hunt down Parmalee.
I'm one of the rare people who loves the Wes Parmalee storyline. I do. And I am unapologetic about it.
You don't have to apologize. Stephen Elliott, who played Scotty Demarest.
Scotty.
Died May 21st, 2005, and he was married to Alice Herson, who plays Mavis.
That's cool.
And next week we have Priscilla Presley, turned 78 on May 24th. And May 24th will be the 6-year anniversary of Jared Martin's death. And we're going to stop there.
All right.
We'll stop there.
We'll stop there. And we are talking tonight about season 6, episode 5, 108 of the series, Jock's Will.
The Jock Cock.
Jock Cock. It was written by David Paulsen, directed by our friend, Michael Preece. Friend of the pod, Michael Preece.
That's right. And if you have not listened, when the audio is going to be posted soon, but if you did not join us for the live, he had stories, and we could listen to that man all night long. He is a treasure trove. The man is 86 years old.
And the man basically is Dallas. Like, he directed basically a third of the show.
Right. He directed over 60 episodes. Thereabouts. So.
Yeah.
Including this one.
Including this one. And this one aired October 29th, 1982.
Ooh, 2 days before Halloween.
Then, yes, the night before Devil's Night.
Oh, Hallows Eve.
So also on October 29th, 1982, the number one song in the U.S. was Who Can It Be Now by Men at Work. And in the UK is I Don't Want to Dance by Eddie Grant.
Of Electric Avenue fame. We're going to rock down to Electric Avenue.
And then the number one film was First Blood, starring Sylvester Stallone. The the big news story this week was car maker John DeLorean was indicted for drug trafficking. He was later acquitted, but he was indicted.
That's how the DeLorean got up to 88 miles an hour so quickly.
Yep.
Because it was high.
It was high as fuck. Born on this day was actress and pop singer Ariel Lin. She's born in Taiwan. She's known for the movie They Kiss Again, and her big single was called You. I'm not familiar with her, but I'm sure someone out there is.
Not me, but you.
Yeah, right. And that's it.
And on Dallas, this episode put Dallas back at the number one spot in the weekly ratings. It aired at 9 p.m. and was followed at 10 p.m. by a special Friday night episode of Knots Landing. Because, as you know, by the end of this episode, Gary has come in for the reading of Jock's Will. And what we don't see is, in the Knots Landing episode, are appearances by Larry Hagman, Patrick Duffy, and Eric Farlow, who played Christopher. The scenes, I remember the scenes. It opened in Southfork on Knots Landing with Gary playing with Christopher and Bobby coming in, and then Gary going back to the hotel, and Abby is there. She has flown in, of course, that greedy little witch, for trying to sink her claws into the Ewing money, and Gary is not pleased with his his inheritance. He's
not pleased with it. Okay.
No, he is not.
Oh, right, because there's a little thing with that. Yeah.
There's a little sticky wicky.
Right.
Yeah. And also in Dallas, who happens to be on a book tour for the book Capricorn Crude, which was loosely based on the Ewings, is Valine. So she's there. And it's funny, they converge in the hotel lobby, and there's a call from Mrs. Ewing, or somebody calls out for Mrs. Ewing, and Abby and Val both turn, and it's like, whoa, okay. Yeah. But this is the last appearance in this reality for Gary on Dallas until 2013, when he shows up for 3 episodes.
Right, because he was on an episode that is not considered canon.
Right.
because it's a dream.
And he was on the series finale of the original series, which we all know veered off into
An alternate reality.
La La Land.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Not Landing episode finished at number 4 for the week. And Kenneth Kimmins, who plays Thornton McLeish in this episode, also played Howard on the sitcom Coach with Craig T. Nelson. And George Cooper returns as pilot Lee Evans. And now let's head to Southfork.
Now let's head to Southfork, where we open on, a beautiful shot of the house with some horses running, and then we cut inside to
stock footage.
Jock's painting, where JR's basically just staring a hole through it.
That painting becomes its own character at this point in the series.
It really does.
And it runs through. I remember JR threatening to kill someone if they took down that portrait at the office at one point in front of John Ross. So that it just, the painting moves all over the place, but it's very prominent, as you said, in this.
Yeah. And Harv arrives.
Mm-hmm.
And JR offers him a drink, and he basically gives a really backhanded reply. He's like, not at this hour. I'm not sure I have the stomach for it, which is implying that, JR does.
Yeah, well, JR was born with a bourbon IV going right into his system. It was the umbilical cord was just straight bourbon, straight bourbon.
Yeah. And he has, because basically he has an idea why he's been asked there. But Ellie confirms it when she comes in, and she says that she heard herself talk last night at the ball and about moving on, and she realizes she realizes that she hadn't done that, and they needed to do that, and so they want to declare Jock dead so that they can read his will and just move on.
Yeah, and it's important closure for the family to get that, and but nothing in the Ewing family is ever simple.
No, of course.
So I don't think this will is just going to be simple, straightforward, and cutting everything up evenly. And it's probably going to be messy.
Yeah, I feel like one would hope for that, but yeah.
Well, it could make for some good drama, though.
It could, very much so.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes over the details of what's going to happen at the trial, declaring Jock dead, and he wants the pilot Lee Evans needs to be brought in from South America for that. Yes. And we have to drink because Ellie silently emotes.
True. Drink. And we are reminded that there was no body found. I feel like that is plainly stated. We have to do all this because we never found Jock's body.
Right. He could come out of it as Swamp Thing and just come staggering back and come. Yeah. He could show up. He could show up down the line
at any moment. Mm-hmm.
He could come in and go, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not dead. I'm Jock Cock.
Not dead yet.
I'm pining for the fjords.
And we got to Lucy watching TV in her room in her PJs on the floor. She's basically made a little blanket for herself, and I appreciate that.
We don't know if Charlene has given birth at this point, or they're still concealing.
True. Yeah.
A baby bump. Yeah, because it's kind of odd. It would be kind of odd to have a baby bump after an abortion.
Right, it would, unless you're very far along, which she was not.
Right.
So.
Right.
So she's obviously depressed. Pam comes in and offers some tough love, which okay, but I feel like Pam doesn't really have a leg to stand on here.
No, I mean, Lucy was freaking raped.
Lucy was kidnapped. She was raped. She got pregnant by her rapist and then had to have an abortion. And Pam is literally like, stop moping around the house. Go back to work.
Get back to work.
Like, you still sad? Jeez. And I'm like, Pam, you were like comatose when nothing happened. Like, what?
Pam, you wanted to jump off a building, for God's sake.
Right.
Who are you?
Like, right. So, yeah. So Pam turns around and like stalks out of the room.
Well, you need to get back to work or go get therapy. Blah, 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 blah. But Lucy calls Blair. Blair's away, and she does not leave a message.
No.
I'll call back.
It's like she tried. That was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We cut to Kansas, where Ray is
license plate SL E25 637 car just driving away. Just random car.
Huh.
There was a close-up of the license plate, and it pulled out, and I'm like, does this have any significance of anything?
Yeah,
and it was just a random car that drove away.
Yeah. Ray is asking a lot of questions about Mickey at the table.
Michael. With our oldest-looking 50s woman, Kate Reed, who looks much older than her actual age in this.
Oh my God, ridiculous. And every time like Ray talks about Mickey, like Donna just rolls her eyes basically.
She's like, he's a bad seed. Just move on.
Let it go. Let it go. God. Yeah.
Yes, let it go. Like Anna and Elsa.
Yep.
We did learn that Mickey just gets up and goes. Hasn't worked for the last 6 months, but had a job for 2 years down at the packing plant. We don't know what they packed. But Ray is going to show Donna the sights in Emporia. Oh boy, that should take all of 30 seconds.
The metropolis of Emporia.
We're going to go see the one traffic light and the one parking space where I used to make out with the.
Yep.
And it's snowing in Canada. If you look behind Thornton McLeish out his window.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we cut to Ewing Oil where Mr. McLeish is calling from Toronto, and I guess this is no October, so yeah, it's probably snowing by that time.
One of the rare times snow is seen on Dallas, just barely in the background. Yeah,
and he wants to see Bobby because he's coming to town, and talk about a Canadian investment. Bobby's like, all right.
Thornton, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, Thornton McLeish. This is Terrence and Philip. They will get together, I guess, when he gets into town. So
then we cut to Les Saisons.
Oui.
I think I took German, so I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know.
Oh, that's not French?
I took German, so I'm saying I think it's pronounced Les Saisons. But I took German, so I don't know for sure.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Ich spreche Deutsch. Ein bisschen Deutsch. Scheiße Deutsch.
Scheiße film. No.
Yeah. So Rebecca is taking Cliff out for a really nice dinner, and he immediately shows his lower classness by asking for ketchup.
For the roast.
Right.
Later on it's roast. Ketchup! I need ketchup! He's very, short with Rebecca. He's just has a little bit of an attitude.
Yeah, he definitely does.
And he and Rebecca get to do a lot of eating in this episode.
They do, yeah. They just keep going out to eat. Yep.
Yes. Jordan Lee and Wade Luce come in. And Wade is apparently moving to Arizona along with his wife to be with their daughter who has health issues.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, okay.
That's a pretty big backstory they're giving Wade there.
Right. And he wants to sell out. So
yeah,
that catches Rebecca's interest, but
she does a little side smile.
Right. The plot thickens. Wah.
JR's worried about getting the witness, Lee Evans, to come testify.
Yes.
So he's asking basically Harv, what's going to happen if we can't, and the judge rules against us.
Well, JR, you be basically on another TV show called Schitt's Creek without a paddle, and because that will would stay sealed for 7 years.
Ew, David.
That will would stay sealed for 7 years.
Ew, JR. So yeah, that you'll be fucked. totally if it doesn't work
Yeah.
out.
And Ray is showing Donna around and basically commenting on how different Emporio looks since he was there when he was little.
There's automatic traffic lights. Oh my God. And you're like, what? Were you born in 1890?
There's more than one light.
And this used to be basically like, this used to be a well. And this used to be like, when did you grow up?
And this is where baby Jessica was in the, no.
Didn't happen yet.
No. They pull into the gas station and who's working there? Oh,
Mickey's working.
Mickey Trotter.
But I was wondering about this because so he's beeping for full service instead of pumping it himself. And like Ray seems like a self-service kind of guy. And so I was wondering, like, was it not legal? But I looked it up, and in Kansas, it was legalized that you could pump your own gas in 1972. So I think Ray was just being
an arrogant rich boy.
Yeah.
No, well, maybe this station was full service because it can, it might be could be at the discretion of the gas station owners.
That's true. Even though I will point out that the and this is totally like I know I'm nitpicking here, but the pumps did have directions on how to use them on them for people pumping their own gas. But I am nitpicking.
Stop it. No. And then Mickey's giving Ray some attitude, and Ray says, "We're blood kin. Yeehaw, blood kin."
Oh my God. Right.
I'm like, oh my God, could they get any more Southern?
Yeah.
No, blood kin. But he's only working there to pay off some debt because he and some friends hotwired a car one night.
Yeah,
and he's trying to avoid jail.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets it, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
We should have asked Morgan Brittany about Timothy Patrick Murphy because they were on the show Glitter together.
Oh, yeah, that we should have.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I'd like to get more like stories about him because he lived such a short life.
Yes, he did. He was gone by 1988 before the show even went off the air.
Yeah.
That's what happens with the HIV, the HIV.
I know. It's so lost so many people.
Yes.
Okay, so dinner time for John Ross. But JR stops by.
Tyler Banks, shout out in case he's listening later.
Another eating scene for Tyler Banks.
Well, no, he did not actually eat in the scene.
No. He was talking about eating now.
They were talking about
always
eating.
around food. Yeah.
Yes. Got to get those grapes and that macaroni and cheese.
But then JR talks to him and tells him how he's going to take him to Ewing Oil soon to like let him play because someday you're going to take over as president, just you all by yourself.
Right. No other Ewings are going to be in there because it's going to be my company. That's right. Sue Ellen overhears this and she's wearing some fancy black dress.
I wrote the exact same thing. Fancy black dress.
Yes.
And some god-awful makeup. But, you know, what are you going to do? It's 1982.
Right. 1982.
Yeah. And Ellie's going out to dinner with Punk and Mavis when Bobby and Pam cross paths. And they're like, hey, do you want to go out to dinner with us? But they don't. Instead, they have a pre-dinner drink in front of Jock's painting.
And Bobby is very concerned about why that will was sealed and says that if JR ends up with the company again, they're out of there because he doesn't want to watch JR.
Right.
And Pam is just, she's trying
Pam just tells him to chill. She's like, chill. Like, you don't know what it's going to be. Let's not make plans now. Let's just roll with it.
If this were happening today, Pam would say, Bobby, just take some edibles and just bring it down.
Right. Bring it down a notch. Yeah.
That's right. But Bobby's getting himself all worked up. It could be for nothing. Could really be for nothing.
It could be. Also, I'd like to mention I really like Pam's little black dress in this scene. It's really cute.
Mm-hmm. I was taken by Donna's outfit when they got back to Dallas.
Yeah.
We'll get there though.
Okay. JR and Sue Ellen are out dancing.
It looks like it was it at some restaurant that had dinner and dancing, maybe, because there were people eating in the background.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a sharp contrast about who JR and Sue Ellen are compared to like Bobby and Pam, because when they have Bobby and Pam out dancing, they're like disco dancing.
Right. And Bobby's wearing the tight outfits and Pam's wearing the tight blouse. And it's like, it's a disco version of the Dallas theme.
But Sue Ellen and JR, it's fancy, like jazz band. And they both seem a little drunk in this scene.
Right, because she keeps stepping on his feet.
Right. Yep.
And Sue Ellen shouldn't be drunk because she's an alcoholic.
Yeah, she should not be drinking. But maybe she's just drunk on love. You don't know.
She's high on life. And because Dusty is out of her life because she's married, and Cliff is getting better and he's out of her life too.
JR makes some remark about Dusty, like, "Oh, hope it keeps working" or something like that.
Yeah, I hope that's a cure for like the new bride is a cure for his limp nope rope.
Right. That's so funny.
Yeah, his rope was getting nope.
And then she's just like, she's hinting about the wedding, and he's not taking any. He's not taking any of it.
He's not biting the line. He's not
picking up what she's putting down.
That's right. She's thrown out there, and he's just completely avoiding it. Then we cut to Punk and Mavis and Ellie run into the Frank Crutcher, played by Dale Robertson. JJ Starbuck.
Ellie's so thankful for her friendship with Punk and Mavis because they've been like really there for her.
Right.
This time.
Yeah. And
then Frank comes in and they're like, "Hey, you should sit with us." And he does.
He does for a drink and compliments Ellie on her speech, and then touches her hand, and she kind of she retracts.
She notes out of that. She pulls away immediately. She's like, "Yeah, no."
It's like the turtle's head going back into the shell.
Yep. Nope,
not happening.
Nope, too early for hand holding there, Frank.
Right. Frank, you're just going to have to go home and use your magazines. That's all.
And then we cut back to JR and Sue Ellen arriving back at Sue Ellen's house. And Sue Ellen is worried that JR is losing interest in the marriage because he hasn't brought it up all night. And he doesn't actually need her anymore because of John Ross's voting shares.
Right, so which she mentions, and she's wondering.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out an invitation to a wedding. And obviously, this better not be the one they're sending out to everybody because it has February 15th, 1970 crossed out and December 3rd, 1982 written in.
He's like, "We don't need a new one. We still have old ones laying around. We didn't mail them all out. Let's just reuse it. It's fine." Same place. But
we learned what their original wedding date supposedly was.
Yes.
February 15th, the day after Hallmark Day. Love is in the air. And it's at 2 p.m. Love is in the air.
And then we cut to the next morning where they are going to have breakfast at the ranch.
We see the shot of them driving in. Mm-hmm. And I was watching this on Amazon Prime, and they were cutting it into the commercials a little weird into the middle of scenes in this one.
They do that.
But I noticed that this is me nitpicking. You were nitpicking earlier, but Ellie comes out, sees them pull up, and then we cut to them walking up, but we hear the sliding door shut again, and nobody has gone in or come out. Huh. So there was a random shot of the sliding door that was obviously an editor's mistake.
Yeah.
We like to nitpick.
We do like to nitpick.
Because when you watch these episodes to take notes, to talk about it, you start looking for little details. You
do. Because you pause it and then you're like, "Oh, what's that in the background?"
Now, do you pause during scenes or do you pause after scenes and then write about each scene and then go on? Both?
Depends on how much I have to say. Because I will forget something immediately. So if I have a thought, I'll just pause it and write it so I don't forget.
If there is a certain line of dialogue that I need to throw in there, I have to pause it and write it down. But
Yeah,
otherwise,
yeah.
it's summarizing each scene, and then when in the discussion, then I triggers thoughts. But
I try to wait till the end of a scene, but I also like I just know that I have a terrible memory, so I have forgotten things before, and so I just sometimes have to.
and sometimes I want to pull out trivial details just to give each scene some texture and context and stuff.
Totally, yeah. But yeah, they run into Ellie, and they tell her that they have set a date.
Yes,
for December 3rd.
And she doesn't mention the date, but they've set a date, and
right.
She wants to keep it simple.
Right.
Okay,
Sue Ellen.
When is a Southfork wedding ever simple?
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, right. Good luck. Good luck with that. And then Ellie compliments JR, and he says, "Oh, about what?" He doesn't know.
I feel like there's been a lot of Larry Hagman improvising in this episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we should have Michael Preece on speed dial and say, Michael, was
I
Larry?
know. Right. Was that improvised? Yeah.
But that's not the only date that is set, because they get the phone call that the court date is tomorrow.
Yes. Yep.
So JR is now like, oh crap! I gotta really track
get
down
that guy.
Gotta get Lee Evans here.
And Ellie calls Ray in Kansas to tell him about the hearing, and she knows that he probably won't be home in time. But
did you notice Lil answers the phone, and she hands it to Ray like it's a crisis? Oh my God!
Yeah, she does.
She's sitting at the table like her world
like
is
someone died,
like falling apart. Like, what is it, Raymond? Raymond, what is it? What's going on?
I feel like that just maybe the actress like acting her moment. Like, oh,
right. I'm on Dallas, and I'm the oldest looking 51-year-old in the world.
I'm gonna squeeze every emotion out of the scene that I can.
Right. Ray will return for the reading of the will.
Yeah.
And Donna says, "Oh, I got to book flights," and Lil seems to know the airline schedule right out of the gate there, because she's like, "Wow, there's a flight early morning Thursday."
Right. Like, is there only like 3 planes out of your local airport? How do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, Lil.
Is she stalking the airport?
She doesn't seem like someone who leaves Kansas a whole lot. So I don't know.
Ray goes, and then Ray leaves to go looking for Mickey, which does not please Donna.
Does not please Donna. Donna's like,
Rye. Sounds like she's saying rye, like rye bread.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Rye.
So we got to Mario's.
Mario de la Casa? No.
And it is a family dinner get-together with the Barneses and the Ewings. That little family.
Cliff is quite humorous in this scene.
He is. Mm-hmm.
With his tone of voice was, and he's had 2 eating scenes in this episode, and he's not eaten Chinese food.
I know, right?
What gives? He's eating a
it's
roast.
I think it's because other people are taking him out to dinner. Like, if it's his choice, he's gonna get Chinese
in a carton, no doubt.
In a carton.
Which,
and if someone else
did you
is putting
know
the middle,
that if you remove the metal thing from the carton, it folds out. It's supposed to fold out into a plate.
To a plate. Yeah, I learned that on MySpace, I believe. Like, what the heck?
MySpace, which is where I first met Omri Katz.
Nice.
And a friendship was formed. That's right.
So everyone is worried about the possibility that JR will get Ewing oil back, except Pam, who really doesn't want to talk about it.
She even gets up to leave too.
Yeah, she starts throwing a temper tantrum about it.
Yeah, and Rebecca says, "Well, if JR's back in, then it's all out war." And Cliff is like, "Oh, Mama,
Mama!" I know, it was so funny.
It reminds me of some of the scenes with that I've been seeing recently with Lorenzo Lamas on Falcon Crest. He just has some of that comedic undertones to some of his scenes with Angela Channing.
But Pam, I think this is the time where I start to really not love the character of Pam. And I know that people are not going to agree with me, but I feel like, holy crap, she just starts getting really annoying. And she's like throwing a temper tantrum at the table. Like, well, I'm just going to leave.
Bobby, let's go.
Like,
Bobby, come on, let's go. Now.
Everyone's like, well, fine, we'll stop talking about it. And she's like, me. Okay, Pam. Okay.
Sits down and pouts. Fine, I'll sit here in the corner. Why? No.
Right. They got to the court case. Hunk is testifying. Then Lee Evans. Then Bobby.
And we notice his name is Judge Carnes. They produced Jock's medallion as Exhibit 17 that was pulled out from the swamp. Mm-hmm. Which we're reminded again that anything that goes into that swamp is not coming out because it is such a sinking bottom. It's like quicksand.
Except the medallion somehow.
Right.
Okay.
Because they needed a piece of Jock prop.
Right. And we have to drink again because it's some really great emoting from Allie.
Yes. Allie with her emoting.
Yeah. And then we cut to Kansas, where Ray wants an immediate decision from Mickey. We don't know about what yet. And Mickey is just like walking away, and he says not to push it, and he just walks off.
Right. Because they're bloodkin. Remember, they're bloodkin.
Bloodkin, which means it must be that his mom and Lil were sisters.
Oh, that's true.
I think that proves it.
Right, bloodkin, because
he would just say kin otherwise.
Right, there is no bloodkin with Amos.
Right.
Rymond.
And then he tells Donna that he's asked Mickey to come to Southfork.
Oh, Christ.
And she's just rolling her eyes in the back of her head.
That's going over like a lead weight.
Right. He says he's going to talk to the judge. He'll pay off his debts, and then he can work them off at the ranch. And Donna's just like, this is a stupid fucking idea.
Well, Jock did the same thing for me when I was a boy. It's my turn to pay it forward.
And she's like, and like, what about like taking like a kid or anything? Like Jock raised 3 kids before you. And then, so that kind of helped give him a clue. You have nothing to go on. And he's like, I guess I'll just learn on the job. Okay, Ray.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good.
Yeah.
Just good luck with that.
So far, you've done really, really great by just like trying to beat him up every other scene.
Right.
But okay. But also, like, Mickey's like 20 years old. He doesn't, in all honesty, like, he doesn't need a parent figure.
Right. He can go screw up his own life.
Right. I mean, it's nice you're going to give him a job, like, whatever. But yeah, that, you don't really have to parent a 20-year-old.
No, unless they're like
really needing some. They're really needing some.
Right, like they have mental handicaps or things.
Right.
Like,
And Mickey just has like an attitude handicap. So
yeah, Mickey has a tude, as they say.
Tude, for sure.
For shizzle manizzle.
And then we're cutting to the courthouse manizzle, where Jock, they declare him finally legally dead.
Right.
He has legally died in the jungle in a place unknown in the jungles of South America.
Right. He's not quite dead yet. Yes, you are dead.
Yeah, dead.
Dead. And they would have liked to have had a body to just cinch it, but that's not always possible in these situations because of everything that went in doesn't come out of that swamp except the medallion.
Except the medallion.
Medallion. That's it. That's all we need.
That's it.
That's right.
And then we got to Southfork, and Ellie tells Lucy that Gary will be there tomorrow for the reading of the will, which JR is not pleased about.
Yeah, JR was also going on about if that witness wants to go back to South America, he can hitchhike. I'm not paying. What the?
What? Yeah. So you just left him? Like, sorry. I know you just saved my company, but
left him at the courthouse. It's like, what?
Right.
Well, but earlier JR was saying, well, he's going to be there even if I have to swim across the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen JR swim him across the Gulf of Mexico. That would have been funny.
JR. Okay, you're right.
JR in a swimsuit. Woo, boop, boop. As oil tankers go by.
Yep.
See JR with a guy on his back swimming.
God. Like in in the SpongeBob movie with Hasselhoff. Yeah, did you ever watch the SpongeBob movie?
No.
And they like hitch a ride on Hasselhoff when he swims them to the to the beach.
Oh God.
Okay. And then he also finds out that not only is Gary going to be there, but Ray's going to be there too for the reading of the will. And JR just can't even. He's like, are you kidding me? Well, I guess everyone's coming with there's money. Okay.
And then JR delivers a line, which I actually had to stop and write down. He goes, well, what's the family for if it can't help out its losers?
And then Sue Ellen kind of calls him on his shit. And she's just like, so you really want this will read? She's like, that means that like you know what it says. And then JR's like, he totally denies it and gaslights her. And he's like, what? Me?
Come on.
What?
I asked for.
I would never.
I asked for a peek, but Harv said no. That's it. That was it. That was the end of it.
I would never do something like that. I'm like, okay. And she's just like looking at him like, are you fucking kidding me? Okay.
How do you tell if a JR is lying? His lips are moving.
His are moving, yeah, for sure.
If he was Pinocchio, his nose would have gone through the window.
Yeah, and luckily, girl's not buying it. She's just like, okay, I guess you're not going to tell me.
Yeah, and then we have Donna's wearing her blue skirt and bandana.
Oh right, yeah. And they play the silliest music in this scene. It's like I don't know. It's like silly circus music.
And we forgot to comment on JR's ascot earlier when he brought Sue Ellen to Southfork.
Right.
The off-white one that was just.
We did not drink for JR's ascot. I'm going to belatedly drink
because his ass is going to get caught at some point.
I mean, always.
Yeah,
but he's always going to get out of it too. So
right.
So it's Ray and Donna arriving back at home with Mickey in tow.
And he's thinking he's going to be sleeping there, and in the not the big house, but the Krebs house.
Donna lets him know, like, you ain't sleeping with us. You're not staying here.
No,
she hates him. She hates Mickey.
That would be a very odd bed trio if the three of them were.
I mean, doesn't it have 2 bedrooms? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. They don't have a front door. They only have that sliding door.
They only have the back right.
Well, that's like I have neighbors, and I've observed this every time I am passing by their house and I see them going in or coming out. There's a front door that never opens. Everybody always pulls in, and they always go in through the garage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have friends who do that too.
What is the point? Is there there must be an area when they get inside where they take off the shoes and everything and they just leave it downstairs?
Maybe. Yeah, like a little mud room. Yeah. That makes sense.
But it's like the door is a prop. Well, the front door at Southfork has become a prop most of the time at this point.
It's true. So then we cut to the airport where Gary arrives.
Ted Shackelford in for his 2 scenes in this episode. And it's nice that Lorimar does both shows. They also did Falcon Crest. So it would have been interesting to see a 3-way crossover between all the shows.
Yeah, it would have.
I mean, imagine Sue Ellen going up against Abby.
Because I didn't, even though Falcon Crest was on right after Dallas, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But weren't they also in oil? But they were in Denver?
No, that was Dynasty.
Oh, it's Dynasty. Okay, never mind.
Right. And then
different channel.
Then they had that new version of Dynasty, which I call it Die Nasty because it was a nasty reboot. It
wasn't good? Okay.
I heard it was horrible. But, I mean, they had Nicolette Sheridan playing Alexis in the new one.
Huh.
But the, no, Falcon Crest was wine. Vineyards.
Wine, right. Okay.
Yeah. With Robert Foxworth, who was the first choice to play J.R. Ewing.
Yeah. I just never watched that one. I don't know what. I guess I just went to bed after Dallas.
I'm on season 5 now on Amazon Prime.
And you're enjoying it?
Oh, yeah. Because I got in the middle of the series and to the later part. And so I'm going back, and it's nice to actually watch a show from the series premiere all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
And Jane Wyman's ex-husband on the show, her first ex-husband, was played by Stephen Elliott, Scotty Demarest, who was the father of her children on the show. And Laura Johnson, who played Beamskin Rug's girlfriend, Betty Lou.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was on there for several seasons.
Huh.
Yeah, there were a lot of Dallas back and forth. Right.
And then we cut to more silly music as we switch to Ray taking Mickey to bunkhouse number 2.
Where they run into Clarence and Jack coming out of bunkhouse number 1. And Mickey thinks, oh, well, I'm going to get some privacy then in my own little bunkhouse. No, you got 3 other dudes living in there. His sausage fest. And Mickey's like, well, I should be why don't I just stay in the penitentiary there? Leavenworth was nearby in Kansas or something like that.
Oh, my God. Mickey, get a grip.
Mickey is copping a freaking tood.
Oh, my God. Like, I'm here for a little bit of it, but, man, he's too much at this point. Like, settle down, Mickey.
It gets old. It really.
Yeah.
It just gets old.
Yeah. And then Ray tells him about Jock being his real father.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then Mickey's like, he's basically like, oh, okay, what?
The final scene takes place in the Southfork living room where Harv is at that little table that's been set up nicely for him. And that's a thick will, as we saw when JR got the copy from Harv's son-in-law.
Yeah, that is either the will or War and Peace. We're still not sure.
Right. No, but I think Charlie Brown is still reading that from the New Year's holiday.
Yeah.
So should we give the breakdown of?
Yeah. So he's like, this is filled with a lot of mumbo jumbo, but I wrote up a summary and it's divided into 3 areas: Southfork, Ewing Oil, and trust funds. That's my question. Is the summary is perfect? What do you need a document this thick for just to say what he said? Right. I don't know. Is it for dramatic effect? I'm sure it's for dramatic effect. I mean, I'm sure like he has a lot of stuff because he's a rich guy, and I'm sure there's a lot of things he has. But like, I think my will is like 3 pages long. And granted, I don't have as many things, but you literally, as long as you're not leaving it to a ton of different things, you can just be like, okay, this is this. Yeah. And obviously inside of all that paper, it's all blank. Well, yeah, obviously. Like the scripts that Michael Preece said they used to hand them because they would ad-lib their lines a lot. Right. The blank pages of the script. Yep. When in doubt, read the script. All right. Summary. Ellie gets Southfork. Yes. Trust fund. The sons get $10 million each. Lucy, because she's over 21, she gets $5 million. Ellie also gets $50 million. Oh, right. Gary, however, his is limited to the accrued interest for 4 years. First 4 years. You can only use the interest from the $10 million for the first 4 years, which is bullshit. Which is what has him storming back to the hotel and pissed when he sees Abby at the hotel. Too. He's like a goddamn adult, and then Jared's like, "I'm sure that he has your best interest at heart, Gary. Right. You're just gonna squander it, right?" Oh, Jesus. And Gary, when he was back at the hotel on Knots Landing, I should have watched this episode and just written up a summary, but he decides he's going to go see Ellie at Southfork before he leaves town, but he never made it there. He got there, he looked, and he turned around and left. Oh, man. Yeah. But Abby is all excited because she sees dollar signs from Jock's will. And let's see, grandchildren are going to get an equal portion based on the number of grandchildren on their 21st birthday. How do you do that? Because babies are spread out. That's my question is it when one of them turns 21? Because it says future grandchildren. So is it like just the grandchildren that exist now? Right. When the will is read? Or is it like more grandchildren if they come later? So I'm gonna do a little analyzing here for a second. Okay. Bear with me. Lucy, John Ross, Christopher. Mm-hmm. Then later you have James. You have Lucas.
You have to Margaret, Callie's unnamed child. Knots Landing, you have Bobby and Betsy, and then Gary had a child when Valine was supposed to be dead with somebody else, Molly. So you're cutting the pie quite thin. So that's a lot of grandchildren, and we don't know how many quote unquote bastards JR had out there somewhere that we never found out about. Right. How many women did he sleep with? How many could have ended up pregnant that we don't know about?
That's why I'm just wondering, like, when do they count the grandkids? Is it now? Like, right in 1982? Because they have to wait till they're 21. So, I don't know.
So maybe by the time the first one reaches 21, they would have a number based on things. But that's...
Because if it's when they, like, say when John Ross hit, because I think... Lucy's is separate because she got $5 million.
Right. So, she's over 21 already.
Yeah, she's over 21. So I think he's just taking it. So when John Ross would hit 21 would be what year? It'd be 1990.
79, 2000.
Year 2000.
April 2000, yeah.
April 2000.
Which is when Tyler Banks turned 21, coincidentally.
Right. So then... I mean, we would know about a bunch of those other kids.
Right.
So,
by that point, yes. But, spoiler alert, you cut to JR Returns, and there was a codicil about Cyberbyte shares, which JR swindled to get money to get Ewing Oil.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cyberbyte.
Right. And now we get to the meat of the issue. Ewing Oil, the company, the business.
Company, where there's a handwritten codicil.
Right.
And J.R. Fane's like, worry, like, oh my God, is this going to be like, is there going to be someone like that says that this isn't legal?
Admissible or, yeah.
Right, yeah. And I was like, no, like it should be fine. It's actually more because it's in his handwriting.
And it was written in front of Punk Anderson down in South America, who happens to be named as the executor of the will estate.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But he's not there, which is interesting.
That is, yeah.
And it was like the only one missing at the court to declare him dead was Lucy. She was not there at the courthouse.
Oh. Huh. Didn't notice.
Everybody else was there. Jock has decided on a contest to run a year, split 50-50.
To which Ellie goes, no.
To see who can generate the most revenue with their half.
Right.
And the winner will get 51%. The loser gets 19. Ellie, Gary, and Ray will get 30. They'll split up the remaining 30 at 10, 10, and 10. And the company must never be owned by anyone other than a Ewing.
Right.
And should either brother pass on during that year, the other wins the contest and gets control.
Right. To which JR immediately goes to Bobby. He's like, a toast to your good health and very long life. To which it's just like, oh shit, is he going to murder Bobby? Shit.
Let's not forget that the original plan was to kill Bobby Ewing in episode 5 of the miniseries.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah. So then freeze frame painting of Jock. So drink twice.
Yes. And scene.
And scene. All right. So I gave this 4.25 bourbons and a wedding invitation.
Mm-hmm. And I went with a 4.5 because it's opening the door for what I perceive to be one of the greatest storylines in the history of the series.
Right. It was just, there's a lot of setting up in this, so which they have to do. But,
right.
You know.
And it was a swan song to the 4 Ewing brothers together. And I give it a handwritten codicil.
Nice.
Sitting underneath Jock's portrait.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Next time we're going to be talking about season 6, episode 6, episode 109 of the series, Aftermath. And in the meantime, you should join us on all of our social media. We have our website, ewingbbq.com, which will link to all of it. You can go to our Patreon, which patreon.com/ewingbbq. Our website has our merch. We have a Facebook group. And then we have an Instagram and a Twitter. And if you just want to look at your show notes, all the links are there. Or just go to ewingbbq.com. And if you...
you can be a Twitter twatter.
Yes, you can. If you like our show, please help us by going to Apple Podcasts and giving us a 5-star review.
Right. And
it really does help.
You can always join the Patreon, because if we don't get the Patreon, then we have to cut our hosts out. We'll cut down to 2 hosts. No.
Oh yeah, then what would happen? Then you'd be left with just us. God, no.
Right. You would have to have a rotation basis, like the final season of Knots Landing, where actors had to take episodes off, except for Michelle Lee.
Huh. And if you don't like us, then go leave a 1-star review and negative comment on the website Scientology.com.
If you don't like us, tough noogies.
Right. But we will see you next time. Until then, bye.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Next on Dallas.
I haven't forgotten what you did to my son. And since the only way to your heart is through your company, I intend to do everything in my power to make that company bleed.
My future and the future of my son is tied with JR. Any attack against him would be an attack against me. And I'll fight right by his side.
JR doesn't want that company just for himself. He wants it for John Ross. I'm not going to sit back and watch JR steal something that rightfully belongs to Christopher.
I get the distinct feeling there's an army mobilizing against me.